Hey there, I'm Jenn Herman with Jenn's Trends. And if you're curious about how to set up your username on Instagram, this is the video for you. So what goes into a good username? Well, I want to go beyond just the username. There's two criteria on Instagram that I want you to be most aware of, and that's the username and the name. So first and foremost, it's important to understand that those are the only two searchable criteria on Instagram. Meaning, if someone goes and searches for a name, a business name, a category of something, and it pulls up accounts as the results, the only criteria that it is looking at is the name and the username. It's not looking at your bio, it's not looking at your content, it's not looking at anything anywhere else in terms of those search results. So if the words you want to be found for are not in the name or the username fields, you are not going to show up in those searches. And this is important to understand because we want to make sure that we pick the best username overall, but that it incorporates that aspect as well. So a good username is going to reflect you and or your brand, how you want to be recognized on Instagram. When you post, when you comment, when you interact with someone else's content, you are known as your username. Therefore, the username is how you are most recognized, and we want that to be the best reflection of your brand or your business. So maybe it's your business name. Maybe it's something tagline related to your business that people would recognize. Whatever it is, that has to be the most recognizable aspect of your brand. Now, if you're someone like me, where I am my brand, Jenn's Trends and Jenn Herman are one and the same, I could use my name. I could use something related to Jenn Herman because people know me as my name. But for my username, I did choose the brand name. So I chose Jenn's Trends. Now, I also put an underscore in there. So it's JENNS_trends because I wanted to be very clear that those were two separate words. So you can use either an underscore or a dot to separate words. It's important that you think about this because if you have one long run-on username, doesn't matter if you think it's capitalized or if you think you can read it, it's one long run-on lowercase phrase. And what you know and read as one username may not be what other people read. I always have an example that I use where someone had the username a guide to, and then it had the rest of it. So a guide to, but that was all one word. Well, I thought it was maybe something in the language of Spanish, and I started reading it as a guide to, like I was trying to figure out how to read it, and I literally did this on air, and I made a complete and utter fool of myself because I couldn't figure out how to pronounce it, only to find out it wasn't even anywhere near what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a guide to. So make sure that other people can read your username the way you want it to be read. And if it's not reading the way you want it to be read, consider adding those dots or underscores to make it more clear what those separate words are. Then your name can be anything you want. When you go in to edit your profile, there's the name field. That's what shows up in the big bold letters on your profile. That can be anything you want. So if one is the brand, the other should be the name, your actual name. Like I have Jenn's Trends as the brand name for the username and Jenn Herman as the name field. Now, if your brand is your brand, you could have the same in both places, but I want you to think about the keywords for which you want to be found. So if you are a photographer, somewhere in there needs to say photographer. Also, you likely serve a geographical area as a photographer. You probably don't travel a ton and take clients all around the world. It'd be great if we did, but not every photographer does that. So you're going to want your geographical area in there as well, because if someone goes to Instagram searching for a San Diego photographer and you don't have San Diego and photographer in your search, you're not coming up, or in your name or username, you're not coming up in search. So your username might be abc.photography and your name might be, John Smith, San Diego photographer. That way you've got your brand name, your personal name, and what it is you do while tying in those geographical and keywords that you want to be found for. That's also why I have Instagram expert in my name field. So if someone's looking for Jenn's Trends, they find it via the username. Jenn Herman, they find it in the name. And if they're looking for an Instagram expert, that's also in the name. One final thing to keep in mind when you're picking your name and username. The username is your URL. You are Instagram.com/your username. So if you change that, you lose your URL. I am stuck with Jenn's_trends. Not that I want to change it, but there are so many links around the world from podcasts and interviews and articles and references that go back to my Instagram account and other people's content, but also in my own content from my own blogs and my own content. And if I changed my username, all of those links would no longer be valid. So once you've picked a username for your brand, you want to stick with it unless it is really important to make that rebrand. Do that as soon as possible. Commit to something that is accurate for what your brand is, and don't change your username. Now, the name field, you can change that as often as you want. Change out those keywords. If you do seasonal type content, you can change out those keywords to match seasonal needs. That's perfectly fine. But the username, once you pick it, you really want to stick with it. So think hard about what you want that to be, how you want to be reflected on Instagram, and if it factors in those keywords or recognizable terms that you want to be found for. I hope this helps you understand the intricacies and the importance of the username field and gave you some ideas on how to pick something best for your business. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to this channel where I'm always sharing tips and videos just like this to help you succeed on Instagram. And I will see you in the next video.